Okay, we are discussing interrupted flow facilities, meaning the intersections. Okay, and intersections then have conflict points, and to reduce the conflict points, then we use traffic control devices. Up till now, we had talked about roundabouts. Okay, and a very important criteria the uh, for the intersection, which is the side distance. Okay, and since you are looking at the car coming from the side, so the side distance is obstructed by the obstruction on the side of the road. Okay, so it's not like you are looking ahead. And then we discussed two approaches. Okay, one is using the minimum distance equal to the side distance. Okay, and trying to see if the actual distance is equal to minimum or not. And the other approach was that the required distance, the minimum distance, is taken from this empirical relationship, okay, from in which they have these numbers 18 and 12. Okay, like they were sleeping one day, they woke up in the morning, they thought about, okay, 18, 12, let us put it in the equation. Nobody knows why. Okay, but you can have minimum equal to the side distance or minimum equal to this, and then you can check if you have the actual more than the minimum or less or what. We looked at this example, and then we were looking at warrants. Yes.
Doctor, in test we have to check both, or you will satisfy?
Oh, this is in the test. Okay. No,
No, it's not in
not this. Okay.
next test.
Next test. Okay. Since he's asking, I will not give it.
You will later.
I will write it. I will write it if you have to do one way or both.
Difficult, you will ask.
Huh?
If there is anything difficult.
If there is something difficult, you will not even think about it. Okay, whatever grades you lose in the exam, 50% is out of shock. Huh? Why did this come? Huh? I told you, one student came to me, doctor, why did you give this question? You already gave it in the last semester. I did not prepare for it. Okay, so coming back to warrants. What are warrants? What is a warrant? So there is a warrant for stop sign. There is a warrant for two-way stop sign. What do we mean by warrant? Conditions. Okay, conditions when a particular control device becomes necessary. Okay, so we mentioned some conditions, and some of the conditions are repeated. Okay, two actually. Two are repeated. Which two? Regarding side distance. Side distance is not enough. You cannot move without a stop sign or any other device. And the other one? The crash experience, the crash record. Okay, and this crash record should be for crashes which are happening because of the intersection. Okay, not because of the pavement or not because of cars which are hitting the barrier or something like this. Okay, so they are happening at the intersection. Okay, so these two will always be there. If we are going to put a stop sign, okay, so we have discussed warrants for stop signs, right? If you want to put a stop sign, so you satisfy one of these conditions, and then now you are saying we are going to put a stop sign on the signal. Okay, so then you have to satisfy this criteria as well. Okay, what is this criteria? It's given by Ashto. Okay, and these were the people who were sleeping and then woke up with numbers. Okay, so they say the distance to the conflict point. Okay, it comprises of these three components. Okay, your distance, the position of the car and the conflict point, between them the distance can be divided into three components. Okay, the first component is from the driver's position to the front of the vehicle, which is approximately 8 feet. Okay, the driver is sitting in hopefully in a seat. Okay, and the front of the vehicle. So this distance is fixed, which is 8 feet. Then distance from the front of the vehicle to the curb line. Okay, so this is again fixed for safety as 10 feet. Okay, so this is from the car and this is from the safety perspective. Okay, the less than 10 feet is how many meters? Okay, around 3 meters. It's around 3 meters. Okay, which is enough for the purpose of safety. Less than that is considered too close. Okay, so this is it. Then distance from the curb line to the center of the rightmost travel lane. Okay, so we have we are talking about they didn't show the components here. Okay, but what they are saying, distance from the curb line, okay, to the center of the rightmost, so I should start from here, okay, fine, to the center of the rightmost travel lane, this lane, okay, from the curb line, this is your curb line, right, center line, stop line, for example, okay, so there are 3 components, from your eye to the car, from the car to the stop line or the curb line, and then from the curb line to the lane which will conflict with you. Okay, these 3 components. So what they are seeing, the distance of vehicle A, which has a stop sign, okay, from the collision point should be equal to this much. Okay, the distance of vehicle A, which has a stop sign, okay, to this vehicle should be equal to this much. Now what is this 18 feet? From where this 18 feet is coming? These 2 numbers, 8 and 10. Okay, so 8 is from the car design and 10 is from the safety point of view. Okay, plus whatever distance we have from the curb to the conflict point, this one. Alright? Okay, so they are saying the let me explain. Okay, so what is your distance dB minimum? dB minimum is taken from from the car, this conflicting car which doesn't have a stop sign. Okay, this car which doesn't have a stop sign. So from this car to the conflict point. From this car to the conflict point. Okay, this is our dB minimum. So and it is calculated as what? This is the conversion factor. Speed of this car multiplied by the average gap which is accepted by this vehicle to enter. Okay, now what was gap? What is gap?
The distance between 2 vehicles.
Distance?
It's
No,
in
it's
different,
time.
different
Time, distance, okay, fine.
but it will in different areas, so minor and major.
Yeah, so the gap is the time interval between the 2 cars on the major highway, so that the minor guy will try to enter. Okay, so this again a safe value is given, but you can do your own study. Okay, we called it critical gap earlier. So according to their study, the critical gap is 7.5 seconds. Okay, so what is critical gap? Because the exam, it can come in the exam, right?
Number of people
Minimum.
rejected.
So we call it minimum. Yes.
Number of people rejected equal to the number of people accepted.
Yeah. Okay, it's equal. Yeah, 50% accepted, 50% rejected. So according to their data, it's 7.5 seconds. Okay. So your dB minimum should be or can be calculated from this value and yeah. So what is dB minimum? The minimum sight distance for vehicle B, which is approaching from the uncontrolled street. So this is a major street and they are coming from here. Okay. So how much distance you should have, okay, for this guy to decide whether he should go or not. Okay? Clear? No. Okay. Now this guy is coming from this street, he has a stop sign. Okay. How far is he from the stop sign? 18 feet. Okay. So from the stop sign he is 18 feet behind. Okay. This is what we are assuming. So the stop sign is somewhere here near the curb, and behind 18 feet is this guy. Okay. Now this guy is looking at the traffic which is coming from the other side. Okay. Now when the first vehicle passes from here, if he has enough gap to the next vehicle, he will cross, right? If he has enough gap to the next vehicle, then he will cross. But he should be able to see that much distance as well, right? He should be able to see up to a distance for which he needs the gap. For example, he needs a gap, according to them, is 7.5 seconds. Okay? In 7.5 seconds, the car on the major road can travel 500 feet according to the speed of the road. In 7.5 seconds, the car on the major road can cover 500 feet. Okay? Now you see the problem. If this guy is standing here and he can only see 300 feet, then whatever happens, whenever he decides to go, it is unsafe. Because he needs how much? 500 feet, right? He needs a gap of 500 feet. And he can only see up to what? 300 feet. So it's unsafe now. Okay? Clear? Okay. So when there is a stop sign, this guy is standing at the stop sign. Okay? And he's looking at the cars coming from the other road. Okay? Whatever gap he requires, he should be able to see to the distance which the car covers in that gap. Okay? If he cannot see that much distance, if he sees less than that distance, then it means that whenever he decides to go, he is deciding at something which he is, he cannot see. Okay? So in order to go safely, he should be having a gap of this much, and in this much time, the car covers this much distance. So his actual side distance should be equal to this or more than this. If it is less than this, that means whenever he decides to go, he is unsafe. Clear? Okay. Any questions? Okay. Okay. So consider the case of a stop-controlled approach at an intersection with a two-lane arterial design speed 40 miles per hour, as shown here. Which one is arterial? This one is arterial. Okay. And this guy has a stop sign. Okay. This is a stop sign. Okay, and the distances to the obstructions are given. The arterial design speed is 40 miles per hour. Okay, and all terrains are level terrains, and the lanes are 12 feet lanes. Okay, so first of all, we need to calculate that how much is the dA from the right hand side and the left hand side. Okay, how much distance we have. We have to do it for both directions. Okay. So we need to calculate these values for the right hand side as well as for the left hand side. Okay. Now dA for the right hand side. So from here to the curb was how much? 18 feet. Okay. From the curb to the center of this lane. Okay. So this is the curve, and then we have, how much is the lane? 12. Okay, and to the center, right? So 18 plus
12 plus 12 plus 6.
Yeah, 12 plus 6, right? 18 plus 12 plus 6. This is for the right hand side. Okay, for the left hand side. For the left hand side,
18 plus
36.
18 plus,
36.
sorry,
Not 30, 36.
what is it?
Right.
Ah, 36,
Yeah.
Center of the
18 plus 12, okay. Okay. Then this one, 18 plus 6. Okay. Then dB minimum. dB minimum for left and right will be equal because the speed is same. Okay. So using the value of gap which they told us, 7, so 1.47, 7.5, speed 40 miles per hour.
441.
Okay, this is dB minimum. Now dB actual. How do I find out dB actual?
On the previous.
From the previous slide. This one. This one. More. This one.
Yes.
Yes. Now you have to tell me. This one, right? The similar triangle we made earlier. Okay, so this will give you dB actual. Okay, dA you already have 24 and 36. Okay, A and B we will take it from the, obviously it will be different for the right hand side and the left hand side. Let me take the equation from here. Okay, dB actual for the right hand side. Okay, so A was the distance from the vehicle to the obstruction, okay, which is 16 feet. And B was the distance from the vehicle to the obstruction on the other side, which is 35 feet. So this is A and this is B. So how much is dB actual for the right hand side? Huh?
576.
So A into dA upon dA minus B, right? 576. Okay, then the dB actual for the left hand side. So now A will be 36 feet and B will be 20 feet. What? What happened?
216.
260?
216 for the right.
216 for the right? This is the right, huh?
Yeah.
So A is 16
16.
and B is 35.
16.
Correct. These values correct. You were the who told me. So anybody else? Correct. Okay. Now you check. Okay. So on the we needed 441 feet. On the right hand side we have enough. On the left hand side we don't have enough. Okay. Left hand side we again need 441 and we have only 216 feet. Okay. So what can we do? What can we do? We can put sign for the left hand side driver as well, so he will stop. Okay, anything else?
Play with the speed.
Huh?
Play with the speed.
Play with the speed. Okay, maybe reduce the speed on one side of the road. Okay, what else? Yeah, anything else? Huh? Put a roundabout. Okay. It always works. When you don't understand anything, they put a roundabout. Okay. Seriously. There are no warrants for the roundabout, by the way. No warrants for the roundabout. Okay. Anything else? What is restricting? What is making this 216 feet? Why this 216 feet?
We'll take the restriction.
Yeah, okay. So you can remove the restriction or put it away from the road as well. Okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, one thing which you already mentioned that you tried putting two-way stop sign, but you still don't have enough side distance. You can consider putting an all-way stop sign as well. All-way meaning all sides will have stop signs. Okay, normally only the major ones, minor roads have this stop sign. Okay, the following criteria should be considered when you are going to put a multi-way stop sign. Okay. Yeah. So you are going to put a signal in the future on that location, okay, and you are doing the analysis and data collection or something. For now, you can go for a all-way stop sign, okay, for a temporary, as a temporary measure. Again, the crash criteria. Okay, so here they are saying 5 or more crashes in a 12-month period, which is for vehicles in the intersection. You need minimum volume. So the vehicular volume entering the intersection from the major street total is this or more for any 8 hours of the day. Now this will come in the signal warrants as well. So see what they are saying. The value is what? 300 vehicles per hour. For how many hours? 8 hours. Okay. So for there are straight 8 hours in which the value remains this or more. Got it? It's a per hour value, but the volume is more than this value or equal to this value for 8 hours of the day. Clear? Okay. So it's a minimum for 8 hours of the day. For all 8 hours, the value is 300 or more. Okay, for the major road. Okay. Combined volume for the minor road. Combined volume for the minor road. Combined meaning vehicles, pedestrians, and bicyclists. All three of them combined. Okay, for the minor road is 200 at least, again for the same 8 hours of the day. So for example, the volume on the major road remains 300 or more from 12 to 8. So on the minor road, it should remain 200 or more for the same 8 hours, 12 to 8. Clear? If on the major road it is happening 12 to 8, but on the minor road it is happening 2 to 10, this is not satisfying. Okay, it should be in the same 8 hours. Clear? Okay, and the the last condition is again something which you will see in signal warrant as well. The 85th percentile of the highway, the major highway, is more than 40 miles per hour. 85th percentile speed on the major highway is more than 40 miles per hour, then these values will reduce by 70%. Okay, so 70% of 300 is how much? 210. Okay, so if the speed is more than 40 miles per hour and the volume is 210 here and here 140, so the speed exceeds
Yes.
40 miles per hour, then we will satisfy these criteria at 210 and 140 as well. Clear? Okay. And the last condition is where no single criteria is satisfied, but criteria B, which is for crashes, and these two are satisfied up to 80%. Okay. So let me try to summarize. You decided that in near future on this intersection I am going to put a signal. What should I put right now? You can go for a always stop sign temporarily. If this is not the case, then you look at the number of accidents you have. You exceed this value, put always stop sign. Okay. If this is also not satisfied, then you look for these two conditions, 1 and 2. The third point is related to them, right? The third point is not something separate. It is related to these conditions. Okay. If you satisfy both of them, 300 major, 200 minor for 8 hours. If you satisfy both of them, again you will go for always stop sign. Okay.
So we try to minimize the stop sign.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we try to minimize the stop sign or
What do you mean minimize?
to decrease the number of stop signs.
You can say that. Like only if you meet the condition, then we will put the always stop sign. Otherwise, we will not. So in this way, yes, we are trying to minimize the use of the stop sign. We don't want to put it unnecessarily. So only when we fulfill this, then we will put it. Otherwise, we will not. Okay. Now let us say you looked at this condition and these two conditions you did not satisfy. Okay. Now look at the speed of the road. If it is more than 40 miles per hour, are you satisfying